Hello, Grow USA Organic family. Glenn from Grow USA Organic coming at you with a new video today. And for today's video, let's just get our date straight. It is the 18th of June, 2025, baby. 5:33 a.m. in the morning. I've been up for about an hour. It's raining out. I had intentions of planting today. Those are the dogs sneezing in the background. Excuse me. Um, and I'd like to do more videos about my time in the field, what I learned, good days, bad days. Not so much people I met. They were just people you work with. No one remarkable, no one that interesting, no one that stood out in my mind necessarily. One or two, but it wouldn't be video worthy. Maybe I'll break up a video of two or three of them and give them each 5 minutes of you know my opinion and my talk time. But today's video is I thought of it because was going through some of my photos. Someone asked me if I was last night. I, this I okay, so I did take a part-time job, um, which I think is good, right? Because this way I can have a little extra income to buy the things I need to buy. I posted some videos on the new products that we have, which is one main product. It's not very new. Um, two sales so far, third today, but I only had them for really finished in the last week, so I think that's good. I want to put in those water globes, those timed water globes, and put a cover on them because we're going to be 94 degrees on Monday, today being Wednesday. So, these planters, if you have them outside, the wine box window planters, we want to have them covered. But anyway, so back to the video I wanted to do today, and it was when I first got to Maine, and so it was pre-pandemic. I think I left just before March of 2020, or right around March of 2020, I guess. But it was just talk. I don't remember too well, but no one was really inside. I think there was some masks and people talking about it. But anyway, so I left. This is after I found that body, right? And I had this red rum, big sticker on the side of the big black van. So I have a lawyer friend. He's like, you should take that off. You've got New York plates. You're going to get some, because you're going to a little town, which all towns, most towns in Maine are kind of little. Everyone has a zip code, so there's like, gosh, the amount of zip codes. Everyone with 25 people in an area get a zip code, it seems like. But I love Maine. The people are sweet, very traditional, very American, uh, despite what you see in different parts of the country. Anyway, so I didn't know if it was a good idea to park the van and just do like boondocking or stealth camping. It was just, out-of-state plates, the size of the van. I'll post a picture of the van so you can see it. It's beautiful, but it looked like, I don't know, it just would stand out. Anyway, so I wound up going to a campsite called Meadowbrook, and the guy, I didn't like him at all. He was one of these guys, and I think I might have mentioned this on another video, but he's one of these guys whose grandfather bought this property, and he just, the father did his hard work, and this person, dumb, has the beautiful vehicle, calls the shots, you know, born on third, thought he hit a triple type of guy. We all know some of those. So I rent for about 700 a month. I'm getting no water and I'm getting no electric, but I did get the best spot, which is right down by the river where they had some canoes. I had fishing pole. And the good thing about the van is you can get down into places that RVs cannot. Also, like vans with the big AC units, sometimes they get stuck. They can get stuck low trees and stuff like that. So I had solar. I didn't put solar on the van, but I have portable solar. Um, and water is not hard to get. You just have like four, 5 gallon jugs that you could drink and brush your teeth. They had a pool which never opened. They had a shower room, which definitely was good to have. Anyway, so these are the two people. I will talk about two people that I met there, and one guy I forgot. I can't remember. Not either. Well, one was Jeff, I think his name was, but the other guy, I can picture his face. He had a dog named Lava, because I think he lived in Hawaii, And the dog was great. The dog always wanted to stay with me and my dogs. But this guy was weird. He happened to be like the handyman around. He kept knocking on my, I had two tents set up at that point. So I had one for food, which was full because I could take it out of the van. So I had more room in the van, lighten the van's load. But I know he watched my stuff when I wasn't around because I'd be working all day. But he was always like knocking on the door and trying to get in the van, all sorts of odd hours. Um, but I think all in all, he wasn't a bad guy. He was just one of these. Where was he from? And he always drank these twisted teas all day long. He was clearly an alcoholic, and and then this other guy comes along, and they're friends, Jeff. Uh, I want to come up with a name for this guy, but I just can't come up with it. I'll just call him Muggsy because he looked like a Muggsy. So Muggsy and Jeff were friends. Jeff was a total drunk. I'm talking about drinking handles, but he was extremely funny, and he was one of these just country mountain kids guys. He was not too much younger than me, and we had gone a couple of times into town. These us three to go to the store. It was usually alcohol involved anyway that they were buying. Come back, set up a campfire, and we would all hang out and chat. And one day, you always have to go for wood, right? Um, there was this big rock where I was, and there was two other rocks next to it. So I had a little area where I could use a cast iron skillet and do my cooking in this little area rather than waste propane and get the mess up the burners on that thing. So every night we would, not every night, but many nights we would all get together and just hang out. And one kind of coming close to the end of the night, pardon me, we had to go get wood. And this guy Jeff, he's got the bottle with the handle in one hand, and we go up to the top of this rise, which is the high point from where we were, and I mean it's straight down. And the rocks in Maine are big, a lot of pine straw, a lot of spruce, and he sees a log down at the bottom. He says to me, "I'm going to go down there, tie something to it, and we'll pull it up because it was the log that you can't have it wet. It was dry. It was newly had not newly fallen, had fallen but hadn't gotten wet." And I'm standing up there, and he just jumps off, lands on his butt first, about a few steps down, and then is somehow between his heels and the bottle never really left his hand. It definitely never left his hand. It never really moved around much. And with the other hand out, he bounces down the freaking hill. But the hill's steep, so how he was maintaining, he was slipping around a little bit, but he had this method, and he had done it many times after that. Anyway, so we attached the thing. He zips back up the hill. This guy who's drinking constantly looked unhealthy, but he could really move out there. And we got the log and we tied it to my van and we pulled it on out of there. But when you go to these campsites, I'd stayed there for a month. I was overcharged. They did have like lobster every like 2 days a week. They had this big pot outside with these like large brick pillars like this, and the pot was inside the pillar, almost like if you had like it was like a outdoor living kitchen. But the pot, I'd never seen a pot that big, and then you'd sit inside, or you could sit outside if you wanted. And they had a log, a piece of a log petrified that big with a little thing in the bottom with a heavy wooden hammer, which is where everyone would go when they needed to break their lobster claws or whatnot. It was just a communal one, and it was probably like $11, $12. They had beer there, they had soda, they had other sides. The sides would be corn. I think there was a potato involved. Um, they had a little game room with Pac-Man. My experience there wasn't too bad. I just felt I was overcharged, but it was not very close to work, and I was up every day, and I had to be out of there by 4:35, which was no big deal because I'm a morning riser. But some of the other things that you would see at these campsites, there was a guy, as soon as I moved out of that lower spot right by the water, it was tough to get to. It wasn't tough for me because the van could do it. But this guy had a big, beautiful, what is that? The Airstream. And he was trying to get down there with his wife. His wife's yelling at him the whole time, and you could hear this thing just creaking, the aluminum chassis on this thing, because he was trying to get down to an area that he wasn't really capable of getting it down to, and he certainly couldn't get it out. They had to get someone to pull him out. So yeah, just the life and times at Meadowbrook Campground. Um, And from there, at least I was close enough to areas like Portland and Augusta for the fireworks in, Fourth of July, other good places to eat. I had after this point been very became comfortable with Maine, with the surroundings, with the people, because you have to learn how to live among people like that. In the city, you can plug in anywhere. When you're in a country area, you have to do as the locals do. You really do. It's just you don't have to, but it's just that's a smart thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And then from there, I pretty much moved onto a piece of property where I was completely alone, only about a couple of miles from work, in the woods. I rented 6 acres, but there was nothing there. I mean, at the campsite, I could have gotten power, I could have gotten water. There was food, there was um, bathrooms, there was showers, everything. There was nothing. I was pretty much in the woods, which that'll be, the next video. And that's pretty much it. So, wishing you all a great day today. Um, go out and explore. If I would never buy a vehicle I couldn't live in, if you have a van or an SUV or even a car, you don't have to black out the windows. Just buy some big, like something like this. I think this is in fact the material I was using. I don't even know why it's here. This was the inside of a, I don't know what this material was, but anyway, I put it in my windows because I had the short windows in the van that run across, so you don't have to black them out. And just, this way you're not spending $100, $150, $200 on a motel or hotel room just to sleep overnight. You could use that money for exploring and buying more camping gear. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Go out and explore. Um, Florida, because I was doing Maine and Florida. Florida's very hot. You're going to see temperatures rising this year across the nation. I didn't shave. I wouldn't want to be down in Florida much anymore. Just that the heat's just going to be too darn much. A month or two out of the year would be enough, and that's not enough to encourage me to drive down there. So anyway, happy Wednesday. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time, hopefully with a farming video. Thank you. Bye.